What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, cool. So I wanted to go over the tokenomics and specifically some issues that I see for the main tokens for Splinterlands in the short to medium term. Now, I will let you know right off the bat that we are not going to talk about vouchers because nobody cares about vouchers. So those things are just going to inflate all the way to zero until and unless they can find a way to add some more utility to them that people actually want, because the utility already exists. You can go buy Riftwatcher packs or Tower Defense packs and use a voucher, but it's a bear market and people apparently have had their fill, or at least it's not going fast enough to eat through the 40,000 vouchers that are being printed per day. But I've already broken my rule. I did not want to go over vouchers, so we're going to end that right there. DEC. Well below peg once again. There's a 32% discount from where the peg is. SPS holding steady above 4 cents. I am actually impressed with this. I thought following the announcement and the layoffs, this thing was going to nuke down and we might see some 3-cent SPS, maybe even sub 3-cent SPS. I'm not saying that that can't happen, but it seems as though everybody's holding for the time being. Now, these big announcements, or this big announcement, didn't seem to have the effect on SPS, which leads me to believe that it's really much more congruent with where the general market is going. So if there is a larger contagion from FTX, or if there's any more fallout or anything like that, and Bitcoin goes down, right now Bitcoin is what, 16-ish K. So if Bitcoin goes down to 12K, 10K, 8K, whatever, people are throwing a bunch of numbers, everybody's super bearish right now, then that is when I would expect SPS to potentially make a move to the downside as well. Again, I need to just clarify that I am not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. I know I'm throwing out prices or price targets, but I'm just saying that if Bitcoin goes down, I would expect the rest of the market to follow, and that I am surprised that SPS is actually holding quite strong despite the specific Splinterlands news that was dropped yesterday. Okay, so let's jump into the actual difficulties that I see in the short to medium term. Now, SPS and DEC are interlinked in so many different ways. The most obvious one being the flywheel. And for those who are unfamiliar with it, you can burn $1 worth of SPS for 1,000 DEC. Now, that only makes sense if DEC is above peg, and actually slightly above peg, or a lot above peg, I suppose, because then that arbitrage exists. It's probably going to get eaten up by bots, but that's fine because then we burn SPS. It's a one-way transaction or a one-way burn. And then you're able to burn $1 of SPS for potentially more than $1 worth of DEC, sell that on the market. That brings DEC price back down. But bringing DEC's price back down is not our problem right now. We have the reverse problem with bringing DEC back up to peg. And that is because we have 6.3 billion in supply. And you know that number is going down slightly. The good thing so far is that 70 million per month for the LP rewards was removed. And I believe that went into effect this week or last week, or I think it was just this week. And there are still leaderboard rewards, but hopefully those will get swapped out with something else, either SPS, or I think somebody made a suggestion for Chaos Legion packs, which would be kind of cool, considering that you can kind of do a 1-to-1 with Chaos Legion packs. I think 4,000 DEC is the equivalent of 1 Chaos Legion pack. So, you know, if it's like 20,000, DEC that you'd win on the leaderboard, you win 5 Chaos Legion packs. And I think that would be a great use for the time being while we do have plenty of packs available in the store. And since we're burning packs, well, not yet, but we will be burning packs at the beginning of December. To me, this is a good use. So get them out there. Okay, so what are the issues? Well, we need to get DEC back up to peg. And the good news to the downside, right? The good news on the downward pressure is that it is no longer there due to the liquidity pool rewards. Now, this is where I'm going to go heavy on LPs, so hopefully you guys can follow me there. But it's all about the LPs. Actually, it's all about the LPs. It's also all about the rewards from the LPs and the rewards within the game. So right now, or at least before, we used to get DEC rewards. And in order to, and actually, let me go over to Splinterlands now. So now there's no more DEC rewards for these LPs. And one of the areas in which I felt there was consistent negative or downward pressure was when the DEC DAI pool, the DEC BUSD, and then the other one that was paying out, I think SPS DEC, or no, this one, DEC SPS, these were all paying out DEC. Now, in order to compound your gains, when you are paid in DEC, in order to get the other LP token, right, if you want to compound and put it right back into the pool, because these are paying 21%, 18%, you would need to sell your DEC in half, right, or half of your DEC for the appropriate token. That's Binance US dollars on the BNB chain, DAI on the Ethereum chain, and then, if you want to stay on Hive, then you roll with that. And I think there's even so the DEC swap.hive. I don't know if that was paying DEC or not. Either way, doesn't matter. The point being is that anything that was giving out rewards in DEC, you'd have to sell DEC, which was putting consistent sell pressure on DEC for people that just wanted to reinvest, not even take out, right? Like they wanted to do more. They wanted to stay in the game and they wanted to compound their gains. They were bullish, they were excited, yet they had to put this sell pressure on DEC every single day or every single week whenever they compounded, and that is gone. So that is phenomenal, right? We really, really needed that. Now, on the flip side, SPS is going to be the one that suffers because SPS, just on its own, for example, right? So SPS, when you pair it with BNB or Wrapped Ethereum or even Swap.hive here on Hive Engine or Tribal Dex, that is suffering from what DEC used to suffer from. And SPS has been suffering the entire time because, again, in order to compound my gains, right, I have 5.7 Ethereum here, or 5.7 SPS here. If I want to put that back into the pool, I would need to sell half of this, right? So what is that, 2.8, 2.9? And then buy Ethereum. So I'm selling SPS, putting downward pressure on SPS, and buying Ethereum. And that obviously is not going to change. On top of that, SPS is now also facing downward pressure from the DEC pools because this was swapped out, right? So the rewards that were paid in DEC are now swapped out to SPS, and it's still the same amount of SPS hitting the system, but there is now going to be even more sell pressure because let's say for myself, right, I like having stuff in the DEC BUSD pool. Now, instead of selling half of the rewards that I get, right, before I used to sell half of DEC into BUSD, and if I wanted to do like SPS BNB, which is, I have some in that pool as well, I would only sell half of my SPS from there into BNB. Well, now I have to sell all of my SPS, right? 100% of it, 50% going to DEC, 50% of it going to BUSD. The good thing is that this will increase the buy pressure for DEC. So DEC on the whole is in a much better place, and I'm excited about that. It is SPS that is going to suffer in the short to medium term. Now, I'm not super bullish on DEC. I think the right mechanisms are in place for the long run, and this is exactly what we want to see. But in terms of bullishness for it getting back to peg right away, there's still so much that we need to eat through, and the sinks just aren't really there. At least the sinks that people want aren't really there. Now, we've talked about promo cards, we've talked about skins, we've talked about a bunch of different things, and this is the time when I'm hoping the team can go back to the drawing board and focus on all those things that the community wants and is willing to pay for in DEC and burn it all, right? Burn as much DEC as possible, because until and unless we get to some kind of equilibrium level where there is more demand for DEC than what is currently available and what people are willing to sell, right? Because now there's no more faucets, which is important, but more than what people are willing to sell. And right now, this arbitrage is kind of crazy, right? Because the team is going to be working hard to get DEC back to peg. So people are going to buy in at, under 700 splintoshis, what is it, 670 splintoshis. And the moment that this jumps back up to like 0.0008, people are going to be selling because that's over like 10, 15% gain, like easy money, right? In that sense, because that the team is going to be working towards doing this. Now, should you sell your DEC? Do you want to be a team player? I'm not here to shame you. If you want to make money, right? I'm just saying that is the play right now for people who are traders. I am not. Right? I am buying DEC at these levels. I don't necessarily plan to sell, right? I'm not buying it to flip. I just like collecting DEC at these lower levels because then it's cheaper for me to get into the liquidity pools. And that is one of my favorite, kind of passive income streams. So that being said, DEC, I think in the short to medium term, we're going to see some volatility going back up and down until this supply gets cut down, probably close to 1 million or maybe even 2 million. And of course, we would need more sinks as well. But until that happens, right, and we may be months away from that, nobody's burning SPS. I mean, people are burning SPS, but they, I don't know why. And if you're burning SPS for DEC, I implore you, you are wasting money. Don't do that. Go to tribal decks. I know you're doing like a sacrifice for the community and the ecosystem, but I don't want you to do that. Personally, I don't want you to do that. Figure out how to use Hive Engine or tribal decks and you can swap it. There's a very small fee, but trust me, you'll get a lot more value from that because you will get, as close to 100% value as you can versus, you burn SPS right now for DEC. Basically, if you burn a dollar's worth of SPS right now for DEC, you're going to get 67 cents. So you're getting 2/3 of the value, right? Just 67% of the value. Whereas if you go and swap it on tribal decks, you'll get 99.75% of the value, I think, based on those fees. So short to medium term for DEC, I think we're going to see a lot of volatility. I think we're going to see whales and traders, really play this one like a fiddle. Like to me, that's easy money if you want to try and if you're patient and want to roll with it. For SPS, I see continued downward pressure until we can get to a better state with DEC being not just at peg, but above peg, because there's so much SPS in the ecosystem as well. And one final thought here, let's go over to the SPS screen and you can see that we have 900 million SPS in supply, right? About half of that is staked. So we're closing in on 1 billion, which is 1/3 of all SPS that will ever be minted. And obviously we've had a good amount burned so far. I think we've had 2 to 2.5% of SPS burned so far. But here's the thing, and I say this all the time, but I want to say it once again. Burning SPS will not lead to a price increase. It's just a marketing gimmick that all these tokens use, Splinterlands included, right? It's just a marketing gimmick. Price does not go up when you burn SPS, when you burn tokens. That it just doesn't, right? You just put them all into a corner and you burn them. And here's the thing, if you're burning tokens that nobody wants, it doesn't affect the price, at least not directly or immediately. The only thing that affects the price is if more people are buying than are selling. So this is a demand issue right now. And I talk about this all the time on Twitter. I keep asking people, what are you buying SPS for? What are you buying? And let me throw this out to the community here. What are you buying SPS for? And the only invalid answer is because you expect it to go up in the future, right? What are the use cases currently that you want to get SPS for? Because in my opinion, there's not nearly enough there, right? But again, this is the long play, and you can clearly see that I'm stacking SPS. So I'm not bearish on SPS long-term, nor am I trying to throw shade at like whatever. I'm just saying, I'm just trying to be real with you guys about where the tokenomics and where the ecosystem currently is at. So obviously I'm stacking long-term because of the invalid answer, right? Because I'm hopeful that we'll see $1 again someday, maybe even, who knows, $10, right? If we burn enough SPS and the demand then comes in, well, then there's not enough to go around. So that's where the burn comes in handy, right? That's where the burn really starts to take effect. But just burning SPS will not do anything. And if we go ahead and burn like, I don't know, I'm just going to throw a number out there, but if we burn like 100 million SPS over the next year, but there's no additional utility, I don't think we'll see the price move, right? Because there's just too much out there. Everybody already has as much staked as they would like. And if the price, if there's no reason for people to buy more, especially when all of the folks who already have a ton of SPS are getting it for free with staking rewards, you are earning it in game, you are earning it in all these different areas. There's just so much downward pressure on SPS for the time being that burning in the short term, I don't think is going to have an effect. And this is why, again, I'm thinking very long term with Splinterlands, but in the short to medium term, I think we're in for a rough ride. So just want to put that out there. I would love to get your thoughts in the comments below. I will catch you all in the next video and see you around the game. Take care.